What would it take to live a lifestyle similar to Serena van der Woodsen from Gossip Girl? Serena is often reflected on as one of the most lovable characters from the show since she was beautiful, charming, and popular. She inspired the entire Gossip Girl blog, so it's obvious that she's an easy person for others to obsess over. Here's how you can copy Serena's lifestyle in 10 simple steps. Your fashion sense should reflect bohemian chic style. One of the most important and crucial steps in emulating Serena's life is making sure your wardrobe is on point. On her most casual days, Serena leaned into a bohemian chic style with the pieces she would wear. These included floral maxi skirts, bright-colored scarves, and oversized purses. When it was time for Serena to attend balls, galas, and other major events, she would wear elegant gowns that were floor-length and fabulous. The wedding dress she chose was another great example of Serena's overall fashion sense, since she always veered away from anything boring, standard, or basic. Instead of wearing a plain white wedding dress, Serena's gown was blended with tons of gold fabric. It was a great embodiment of her overall fashion sense throughout the show. Keep your secrets close to your chest because it will add to your mystique and allure. You'll have to have a little mystery to you if you want people to think of you like Serena. When she first arrived back in New York City after leaving for boarding school, her presence was shrouded in mystery, which made her more appealing and more attractive to everyone around her. Everyone had questions about where she went, what went wrong, and why she suddenly returned. Instead of truth dumping the facts and unloading her honesty on the people around her, Serena kept quiet about much of it until she was ready to share. If she had never been ready to share and decided she wanted to take her secrets with her to the grave, that arguably would have made her more interesting and desirable to the people in her life. So be careful about how much you share when communicating with your friends and family. Not everyone needs to know every little thing about what you've got going on. Date around until you find someone you're obsessed with and never settle for less. One thing about Serena is that she wasn't shy about dating around. She dated many partners and continued putting herself out there until she knew she'd be happy with someone she could classify as her soulmate. She started off dating Dan Humphrey, and ultimately, he became her husband. But she didn't put all of her eggs in one basket with him for all of her teenage years and her early 20s. Serena also dated Nate Archibald, Aaron Rose, Gabriel Edwards, and Carter Bazin. Beyond them, she dated Ben Donovan, Stephen Spence, and Tripp Vanderbilt. She also had a relationship with Colin Forrester, and a brief connection with Max Harding. Serena is a prime example that you shouldn't feel ashamed of yourself when it comes to taking leaps in relationships with different people. Every connection with someone should be treated as fresh and new. Similar to Serena, you can use every relationship you enter to decipher what you like and don't like when it comes to your love life. There were certain things Serena didn't like about nearly every single guy she dated, and she never settled for any of them until she decided that she wanted to lock in and marry Dan. Use your own flaws to refrain from judging others. One of Serena's best qualities ever is that she rarely ever judged other people. Part of the reason why it was so easy for Serena to refrain from judgment is that she knew she wasn't a perfect person. She knew she was flawed, and for that, she never felt the need to berate other people based on their mistakes. Some mistakes Serena made, like helping Nate cheat on Blair or being in the same hotel room as Pete Fairman when he overdosed, are certainly on the extreme side of things, but in a sense, Serena's mistakes humbled her. Whether you've made massive mistakes in your life or not, refraining from judging other people will help you emulate the high vibrational and positive vibes Serena naturally gave off. People weren't scared to open up to her about anything because they knew she'd be accepting and loving with her responses. Prioritize living a life full of travel experiences. Traveling to new places was always on the docket for Serena. It was obviously pretty easy for her to be a jet setter since she came from such a wealthy family. Still, travel can be possible for anyone if you have a decent budget you can stick to. Some of the places Serena traveled to outside of New York City included Paris, Buenos Aires, Connecticut, and California. Think about your dream travel destinations and start planning out ways to get there. It might simply start with making a vision board. If traveling somewhere new is totally out of reach at the moment, you can always strive for a staycation, which means you'll be able to enjoy the bliss of a travel experience without actually leaving the comfort of where you live. Getting into the energy of adventure and excitement will help you match Serena's lifestyle. Accept that it's okay to be the center of gossip, and don't let it weigh you down. If other people have things to say about you all the time, it only means they find you incredibly interesting. If you're a hot topic of conversation, then you shouldn't take offense to it when people are constantly talking about you. Serena was regularly the center of attention on Gossip Girl. In fact, she's the reason the entire Gossip Girl blog was launched in the first place. But she never let it get her down for the most part. Of course, there were times when she was pissed off and annoyed about rumors being spread about her, but for the most part, she took it all in stride. Try to remember that anyone willing to spread rumors about you likely is struggling with tons of personal misery in their own life, and try not to take it personally. Know your limits when it comes to partying. Before Serena left for boarding school, she had a reputation for being a real party girl. She was always getting into trouble, drinking too much, and even using illegal substances. When Serena resurfaced in Manhattan, she wanted to turn over a new leaf. She figured out what her limits were and knew that too much partying would be detrimental for her future. That's why Serena was especially bothered when Georgina Sparks popped up in her life, trying to pull Serena down the rabbit hole of her partying days after Serena had already tried to become a more mature version of herself. Partying every once in a while isn't problematic, but it does become pure chaos if you don't know when to stop. Living life like Serena means knowing exactly what your limits are and not crossing your boundaries. Make people feel seen, heard, and understood. It was easy for Serena to be welcomed in any room she entered because she always made other people feel included. Her warm energy and happy-go-lucky vibe were some of the reasons Serena was so lovable on Gossip Girl. In order to live a life like her, learning how to be genuinely friendly and welcoming to others is an important step. She wasn't fake with her kindness either. She made people feel seen, heard, and understood always. That's part of the reason Dan Humphrey fell for her beyond his initial crush, by the way. He felt like he was a nobody, yet Serena saw him and paid attention to him in season 1 of the show. If Serena came across as a cold-hearted and stuck-up individual to Dan, there's no shot he would have been attracted to her in the first place. He loved how down-to-earth she was. He appreciated how humble she was. These are character traits anyone emulating Serena will undoubtedly have to master. Family should be raised to the totem pole of importance in your life. While it's true that Serena was a bit rebellious with her mother Lily, she was still an extremely loving daughter. Serena only ever had her mother's best interest at heart, even in her most rebellious moments. Regarding Serena's other family members, she always stepped up when they needed her most. Just think of the time she returned home from boarding school to emotionally nurture Eric after his self-unaliving attempt. When she thought Charlie was her cousin, she jumped into action trying to create a friendship and sisterly connection there. Whenever Serena hung out with her grandma Cece, she always had nothing but respect and admiration for that woman. Serena fought hard for a chance to form a bond with her father William, even though he abandoned her. Family was a big deal to Serena, and emulating her lifestyle means it should be a big deal to you too if possible. Allow confidence to be your superpower. Nothing else made Serena more powerful than her confidence. She knew she could command all attention in any room she walked into, but she didn't wield her power in an ugly way. She used her confidence as a superpower because she was a good-hearted person who didn't have ill intentions for others. A few examples of Serena using her confidence as a superpower include the time she was invited to be a model in Eleanor Waldorf's show, and the time before that when Eleanor's team invited her to be the star of their photo shoot instead of Blair. Serena never had to make an effort to shine. She never had to try to sparkle. Things came naturally for her because of her high levels of confidence. Copying Serena and living a lifestyle similar to her would mean truly grasping how important it is to utilize confidence as a full-fledged superpower in your daily life. Walking with perfect posture by throwing your shoulders back and holding your head high is a great starting point. Smiling at others as soon as you make eye contact with them is another. Sprucing yourself up when it comes to your hair and makeup before leaving the house is another. Are you down to pick up these tips to live Serena's lifestyle? Let us know in the comment section below.